Hello, Lewis Herms here. The following is a demonstration of the only county out of 3,100 that is truly tackling election transparency, and it is epic. Transparency has no political affiliation. Clint Curtis has figured out how to get this done, even though California law requires the use of tabulators. Election expert Mark Cook recommended one brilliant addition: require counties to use high resolution digital scanners separate from any electronic tabulation systems to capture and retain a permanent image of every ballot page as soon as ballots are received.
Real quick, California, I'm with Clint Curtis of Shasta County, which I think has done an epic job at working on election reform on our way to integrity. And he's just going to walk us through the system really quick here, so let's pay attention.
They come into the back. They go into the mail boxes and they're sealed. Okay?
Ballots from the back into the mailboxes and sealed.
When they come out of the mailboxes, they strip off the little tab on the top, which then exposes the signature.
Got it.
Okay? It's then run through that machine right there, which sorts them into subcategories. Not actually precincts, because there's 60 precincts and there's 12 spots. So it's kind of a subcategory.
Okay.
And it captures the signature. So the signature can then be compared to other signatures. Then they go in these particular containers waiting for signature verification. These are all sealed up, all four corners. Nothing moves unless it's sealed. So, and everything has logs as well.
Beautiful.
To make sure it doesn't move, because they didn't do that before.
And the clarity of these is very important.
Yes, completely transparent.
That's right. Literally.
Once they have been approved, right, they now know what ones are approved and where they are in which pocket. That's what this thing is. This is pocket 11. That means the ones that came to there are in here. So they go through and they pull out the ones that didn't pass. Those then go down into those which have to be cured or have to be checked. Something has to go on with them. So there are challenges, something's wrong. Okay, got it. If they actually get cured, then they can be counted. If they don't, they just die.
Okay, excellent.
So, depends on the election whether people carry it. Like the last one, it was a 70-30 split. So if you voted for it, you already won. If you voted against it, you weren't going to win. So a lot of people didn't cure it.
Understand, because the margin was too long.
Right. It's like my ballot really doesn't count. It counts or not.
Got it. That makes sense.
Once they go through the process and they're cured, then they get open on those little machines.
Real quick, we backstep. Can you explain to them what cured means?
Cured means that you solved whatever problem that ballot had.
Excellent.
So if the signature was off, if there was a question about, whether it was actually a ballot that which you should have had in there, because sometimes the husband will send in the wife and the wife will send in the husband's, and both of them will end up in the cure bucket.
I understand.
It's like, you come down here and fix this. We're not going to throw your ballot away, but it's not right. We can't take it by mail, which is why cures take until 28 days after an election, because it takes forever. If the new legislation, the new case goes through, the Watson versus RNC, those would automatically be thrown away, because anything that's not done on election day, you're pretty much toast, depending on how tight they make it. So once that's done, and you go left, then they're put in the stacks of 50. They're divided into the ballots you can see and the ballots you can't see. There's very few you can't see, but if someone signs their name, draws a mouse, anything that could identify the person, that has to go to an adjudication station that doesn't have any cameras over it.
I understand. Okay.
The others go into packs of 50, and they're marked as to what precinct they came from, because it sorts them into precincts as well. So you have the same precincts all the way through, and then they get a batch number. It's our batch number, not the machine's batch number, so we can track it. Make sense?
Yep.
Then, once those are done, the pile of them, it gets locked up until it's ready to go. Usually in these bags here, because they're all sealable and lockable and everything, so you can put actually physical seals on them. Because nothing gets the usual, we will, throw it in a bucket and let it go kind of treatment anymore. So they go in here. This is your picture catcher. Actually go right here. Okay, so when this person who's going to do the first count,
Maybe get it from that side.
when this person is ready to do their count, right? They have nothing in their hand. They get one of these sealed bags. They go to them, they open them up, Everything's on camera, so you see exactly what's going on, what that number is, what that batch number is, and you run those through, so the front to back, so you see both sides of the ballot. Even if the back is blank, you need to see it because you need to see it's a blank and not some sort of funny little trick that's going on. So we always plan on the worst case scenario, not the best. So they flip through those. They don't have to count them necessarily, they're just flipping through them, which also sorts them. A lot of people who just use the machines and don't do this has to flip through them anyway to make sure they don't bind or they don't get stuck together. So this actually serves two purposes. It flips through them and then shows everybody what's going on. So they see every ballot and every vote before it ever touches the machine.
Which, as you can see on the video playing right now, I'll be showing the video on that.
Right.
Excellent.
Okay.
And then it goes to here.
Goes to the second station. When this person has nothing else to do, he gets another one. As long as he has something in his hands, though, nothing else goes, because nothing gets to sit here, no stacks. Stacks are bad. We're talking about, wheeling things out from underneath and stuff like that. Yeah, none of that. None of that. You got to cure that, right? There should be no cases of ballots sitting underneath the table. If there is, you have to wonder why.
Absolutely.
Who lost that case under there? I mean, how did he get there in the first place? So this guy runs through his. Basically, he just runs through the system. There's a log that you fill out, and on that log, this will generate a batch number of its own. Not the batch number we have, because it doesn't know the batch number we have. So it generates a batch number, and we compare it to our batch number and put them together. So that way you can now track that batch. Because when you get the printout on this particular machine, it's going to say batch number and what the counts are. And if you don't have that batch, you can't tie it back to the original.
Excellent.
When he's done going through his, he hands it off to this person. This person goes through the same process. The reason for that, people think, well, that might be overkill, why you count it again? But machines can cheat. They're made to, right? They may not, they may, but as a programmer, I can make anything come out of there I want to, And so what this does is it makes sure that the ballot of record, which is what this becomes because it gets sealed up, and then if you ever have to do any sort of forensic on the actual election, you want to make sure that that is the same as that.
Excellent.
So the first has to be the end. When he's done with his, he then hands it over to this guy who now puts it in the red bag, seals it, and away it goes.
Okay, real quick. So this is the system, folks. You can show this right here. I want to just explain to this. This system right here, you've found a way to really cut the cost down to make it extraordinarily affordable. So what is this system here? We're filming each person here, including a clock here, which you're considering maybe putting seconds on, or
I have to put seconds on.
microseconds even,
Right, because they flip through so fast, because it's only 50, right?
Right.
So I had a friend of mine that we've worked with this stuff before, and he was doing the hand count, because the only way this works is that someone actually checks it on occasion.
That's exactly right.
Doesn't have to check everything, but you have to check enough that it actually verifies something. Because otherwise, people would do this all day long, and you would gain nothing if nobody checked it.
Right, and they can slow down the video,
Slow it down.
and see exactly what it says on the ballot, make sure it's correct. This system that you've created above, what would that run individually?
These are about $50 a piece for the phones, because they're older phones, because older phones work better, because older phones, you can freeze the autofocus. And you don't want it to autofocus, which is what all the new phones will do, and they're very hard to shut off, because as you move your hand, you'll get a quiver.
Excellent. Excellent.
But if you freeze the autofocus to the paper, you're good to go.
Perfect.
Your hand may get fuzzy, but you don't care what their hand looks like. You only care what the ballot looks like.
Right.
So the little arms are $10 a piece from Walmart. They're selfie sticks. Pretty sophisticated, huh?
Excellent.
Built the little thing myself. It's cost about $8 to build out of a piece of metal and some wing nuts, and that's it.
So if my calculations are right, that's $188.
Right. And then the stand, if you need the stand, depending on where you come from the ceiling. On the new building, we're looking at coming from the ceiling, so it's better. But these stands are like $40 a piece on Amazon, and then whatever your television set you want to get put in there.
So all in, you're well under $500, and this is awesome. So
Correct. And you can get a lot of that stuff for next to nothing, because these are 40-inch TVs. we didn't have to have new ones. Used ones would have actually been better because used ones have buttons. That's a used TV there. It has a button. It's much easier for us to work with.
Right.
This, you have to have the whole,
Got it.
little 9-year, or you have to push that little button a certain number of ways to make it.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right, so let's finish up with this. So you have live auditing. If somebody really wants to sit right here, we
Yep.
can sit here and monitor the three people.
And they're doing their thing, and you're sitting here watching.
You have secondary auditing in this amazing here. Now, what you don't see, folks, that we're going to get a picture for you here. Is right up here are all the TVs that they can view exactly close up
Right.
just by sitting here, and you can view this online.
Right. In fact, those TVs do not connect directly here. What's happening is this is live streamed and it's recorded. But to make sure the live stream is working, that's what they got on the TVs. They're actually going out to a website and pulling in the live stream. So if something goes wrong with the live stream, they'll know it before I do. Because they'll see it go down, whereas this just shows what's going on underneath it.
So we, the people, can audit fully this portion of it and know exactly if something is
Exactly.
askew. Beautiful. Anything else you need to add?
Well, when you're done with it, it gets stored in these containers over here. And this is where it goes to die. As you can see inside, it has the little different little batches. And then these are the batch numbers and the batch IDs. So if it ever does have to be pulled up, then you have to hunt this down and do it.
Beautiful.
And there's a log that actually tells which one it is. So it's not quite that difficult. You don't have to go through every one. But the log will actually direct you to basically where it is. And then you just use this thing to actually know what's in there, and piece of cake.
Excellent. So before I came here, I knew Clint Curtis was pretty cool, pretty awesome. Now I know he's a national hero, and I really appreciate that. Yeah, one place out of 3,100 counties is doing it right now. Everybody can repeat this. I appreciate you. I really do.
Let's spread it.
Yep, let's do it.
That's the key.
Thank you.